Shamea. We're about to get into season 16, episode 11 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. But before we get into it, baby, don't y'all forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Okay, let's go. So, y'all, we started this scene off with Angela and Charles. And I spoke briefly about this scene last week because I did watch the first 7 minutes from last week when they dropped it early. And I'm just going to kind of reiterate what I said. I ain't going to deep dive into it. So, I like Angela and Charles. I do feel like Charles is one of those men that's kind of old, stuck in his ways, gonna say whatever. Now, I think he loves Angela. I ain't gonna say he don't love her, but I just don't like the way it come off on camera. Like, she's saying, that's their love language, but Charles is like, it ain't. Like, no, it ain't. And I just didn't like when the producer asked him, if he loved her. And he told her next question. Like, I didn't like that. Like, I know he's probably thinking of along the lines, if I'm married to her, we're together. Of course, I love her. Maybe so, maybe not. I don't know. I just didn't like it. I feel like if we on a TV show, fuck that. If we anywhere and somebody asks you if you love me, you better express that you love me. That's just me. But like I always say, if Angela like it, I love it. If you like it, I love it. If it don't bother you, then why should it bother me? I do agree with Charles about Angela's family. We do learn that Angela's mother passed, and we'll talk about her a little bit later on in the recap. I do send my condolences to Angela. I know that's hard, and I could just imagine what she's going through. But for the sake of what Charles is saying about, you help, that's family, but you can't just let people walk all over you and you just doing whatever for them and they can feel like they can treat you any type of way. I feel like Charles is no nonsense when it comes to that. So it's like, if you gonna show your ass to me, then it's like, okay, then I'm gonna show you, it is what it is, and we don't have to talk. We can go our separate ways. Like, we family, but I love you from a distance. You don't gotta call me, I don't gotta call you type situation. And I think that's how Charles is, whereas Angela, she always wanna make things work, and she wanna, be that one in her family who helped everyone and who was there for everyone. And I get that completely. But at some point, you do got to draw the line with people. And that's whether it's family, friends, associates, whoever. Because if you don't, people will drain you if you let them. So I agree with Charles on that front. I didn't like the way Charles, kind of dismissed her with the I love you question and kind of how he's treating her on camera. But like I said before, that's her man. She know her man. And if she cool with it, then we shouldn't have a problem with it. Like, did it come off the wrong way? Yes. Do I think he don't love her? That's not for me to say. I think if you married to, I ain't gonna say if you married to somebody you love them, but I'm gonna say he love her, But I just think that on camera, he should be a little more forthcoming. Like, I know they're saying it may not be him being himself, but still, like, to the world, that looks crazy. And everybody can't see stuff from different angles. So, Charles, get it together. Love your woman loudly on camera, okay? So we see Shamea meeting up with Cynthia, and of course, they're talking about the issues with her and Porsha, with Shamea and Porsha. And so, Cynthia is basically trying to understand what's going on because she wasn't under the impression that things were this bad. Excuse me, between them. And, Shamea goes on to say how she really wasn't able to sleep at night and, that she couldn't believe Porsha. And this is where I'm like, okay, Shamea. Like I always say, y'all, I'm not biased. I like Shamea. I like Porsha. I don't know these ladies in real life. I don't like to say I dislike them. I just like to throw that disclaimer out there. Like, I'm a call what I feel like. I'm a call what I see to be what it is with both ladies. Okay, so let's just kind of unpack this. Shamea is saying that she can't believe that Porsha would basically listen to Angela, right? But it's like one of those things where I kind of side out Shamea because I feel like Shamea, you did the same thing. Yeah, Shamea is saying that the ladies were saying to her that they don't see Porsha as her friend, and they're calling out what they don't see in their relationship, right? But my thing with Shamia is you should have just shut that down. You engaged in it, right? You gave them, like, when somebody say, "Oh, I don't think Portia is your friend," instead of you engaging and saying, "Well, what makes you think that?" Or, you know, what have you feel about this? When they brought up the situation, she didn't come to your wedding. Instead of you engaging in that, saying, "Oh yeah, that hurt me," which that's fine if you speaking on how you feel for real, but you should have let that be it. But steady engaging with women who really don't like you like that, Shamia, and they have issues with Portia too. So of course they're gonna do what people do when they want to see two people feud. And it's like, I'm not disagreeing with Shamia that yeah, Portia could have called her and said, "Well, look, I went out to with Angela, and this is what Angela had to say." I'm not saying that Portia shouldn't have done that, but I feel like Shamia, you could have gave Portia a little warning and be like, all these ladies are saying that I don't like that, you don't really like me and we're not really friends, and this is what I said. Or, I just feel like they both don't communicate with each other. Then I feel like it's deep rooted stuff that we don't know about, because we goes on to find out, Shamia and Portia are actually friends through their mothers. So Miss Diane and Miss Sharon is, I think her mama name is Sharon. No, Sarah. Miss Sarah, Shamia's mother, we learned that they were best friends, and that they were cool, and then they fell out. And so since they fell out, it's been said that Sarah, Shamia's mother, did Diane, Portia's mother, wrong, and that's the reason why Miss Diane, Portia's mother, have that feeling about Shamia. It's basically she's saying the apple don't fall too far from the tree, like Shamia is like her mother. I watched a few videos. One of the girls that I do watch on here, Jada on the Rock, she kind of did a deep dive into it. I don't know how true none of this is. This is allegedly, but she said that Miss Diane and Sarah got into it because I guess they both owned daycares. They was both on the daycare scene, and she said that the Miss Diane, she went through something where I think it was doing like 9/11 or something, and her daycare ended up getting foreclosed on. Just to make, long story short, her daycare ended up getting foreclosed on. So she confided in Sarah because, they friends. They best friends. Like, so I'm going to confide in you and let you know, like, girl, this is what's going on. So when the daycare actually foreclosed on, Shamia's mother, Sarah, went and bought that daycare and opened up shop. And I guess this is where the fallout happened. I don't know how true this is. This is all allegedly. But if that did happen, I can see why Miss Diane is like, I can understand Miss Diane's feelings. But we don't know. Shamia told the producer that she would not talk about, the reason that their mothers fell out. She did say what Miss Diane said hurt her, which, is understandable. Portia did go off on the other day, y'all. And I'm a little late with all this because I have been out of town. But I was on vacation. But Portia went off on Shamia on Instagram on a post and delete, because she said that, I guess in this scene she felt like Shamia was talking about Miss Diane, but I don't really think that Shamia was talking about it. But I do kind of see where Portia could see the shade, where she was like, her mother considered Diane to be her best friend, but basically she don't know if Diane considered that. Like, y'all might not understand it, but that's a little slick shade. That's why I say they both are shady as hell. But Cynthia goes on to let Shamea know that that she admired their friendship, that she didn't know that they had, those type of issues. She would like that type of friendship with them. Shamea is hurt. She lets us know that she really loves Porsha and that she basically wants some resolve. Cynthia basically tells her, that y'all need to work it out because that's kind of what happened between her and Nene. We know Cynthia let Kenya get between her and Nene because she got tired of being called Nene's follower. And I think that's what's going on with Shamea. She's tired of being called Porsha's lapdog. So, that's that. And we'll talk a little bit more about the whole Shamea and Porsha thing a little later. So we have like a little ping back and forth scene of Kelly, Britt, and Shamea. So basically Kelly is in her restaurant and she's meeting with her chef or whatever in there, talking about opening a new restaurant and how good they're doing. Britt is not really on this. She won't be on this episode because she's going out of town to a wedding. So do your thing, Britt. Shamea is in the studio, and she's basically like, about to pick out her single, and she lets her friend and her sisters know that it's a bittersweet moment because Porsha's not there. And her sister did say, well, the friendship has been going south for a while. Like, it's been falling apart for a minute. It hasn't been right for a while. And one of her other friends is like, to be friends, it shouldn't be that hard. So we see Cynthia, Porsha, and Angela meeting up at the bowling alley. And this is why I say I hate Porsha said what she said about Charles, because I do think they would have been really good friends. So they're at the bowling alley, they catching up. The only person who can bowl for real is Cynthia. Angela is trying to bring up the little bumper things, that the kids use, and Porsha is like, no, but Porsha, you needed them too, girl. So then, they they ask Porsha how she's doing. Porsha brings up PJ, and she's like, PJ has been a little bit more clingy than usual, and she's like, I'm realizing it's because I'm out the house more, because she quit the show for a little bit. She had Simon. She thought she had got hit it big and she wasn't going to have to, work no more like that. So now that she's back on her grind, she's not at home like she used to be. So, PJ feel away. She does say, PJ has asked about Papa, which is Simon. And I know a lot of y'all, it's like, y'all don't believe PJ asked about him. I believe PJ may have asked about him. And I'm going to tell y'all why. If you have kids, especially smaller kids, and you bring somebody in their life, and whether Porsha and Simon was together for years on years, or just, the short amount of time, 2 or 3 years that they were together, y'all got to realize that PJ stayed in the house with this man. Like, it doesn't take away from, Dennis, her biological father. She knows him. She has a relationship with him. But at the same time, she was in the house staying with Simon. And for y'all to think that a kid wouldn't ask where this person is at, I think it's crazy. Like, if you don't have children, then I give you a pass. But for y'all with kids, especially little kids that are very impressionable, and you bought them, they like this, that has been little PJ life for maybe 2 to 3 years. She's seen this man every day for those 2 to 3 years, and then all of a sudden he's gone, and then he's gone longer. To think that she wouldn't ask about him, I think is a bit of a stretch. Now, I'm not saying that she's like, oh my God, Mom, where is he at? And I'm not saying she was doing all that, but do I think that she has asked about him? I really do. I think that she may have asked Porsha about him, and they gave Porsha a reason to text him. And then, like, Porsha quit hitting that man up. Like, he let you know he the way he doing you on social media and stuff, which, we know this was filmed a year ago. But, girl, like, quit hitting him up. But I do think that PJ may have asked about him. I know some of y'all don't like Porsha, and y'all think everything that she says is a lie, and that PJ ain't asked about him. With have had little kids and having a child that's PJ age in PJ's age range, my son will sometimes be asking about people that he ain't even stayed with these people. He done seen these people a few times and he'll ask about them. So I know that, you know, kids are curious, and especially somebody that she stayed in the house with, I could see her asking about him. So Porsha is just letting us know, you know, she's going through it. And wow, everybody keeps saying Porsha didn't love Simon. She was just there for his money. I can't say whether she loved him or whether she didn't. But you know, I feel like her feelings are valid. Like when you're going through a divorce, whether she loved him, whether she thought she hit the jackpot, whatever the case Porsha had made up in her head, I do think that she may be going through it. She's saying, you know, how that with the stuff with Shamea is just too much. Like she's going through this stuff with Simon. We know at the time Simon is on social media on her neck, and we know that she's in a fragile state, and that, you know, she feels a certain type of way. So I did agree that with going through a real divorce and then here come your friend laying all this stuff on you from years ago, that could be exhausting. And it's like, I felt her when she said, I don't want to divorce my friend too, because that's like a double whammy. So like, I know y'all don't like Porsha and y'all feel like, you know, she's just acting, but I do kind of feel like, even though her and Shamea have both been wrong and have both done things to each other, I do feel like she do have feelings, and she do feel some type of way about it. And I do feel like she may have feel some type of way about Simon. Now, whether it's true love, I don't know. I can't say that. But I feel like she made up in her head that she was supposed to live this grand life, and she had felt what she's always wanted. And then it's crashing down in front of her face. And not only is it crashing down, he's on social media dogging her out, and every day is something. So I can see her feeling some type of way. So Angela and Cynthia, you know, kind of tells her, you know, everything will get better. And, you know, they kind of just hear her out and just kind of talk to her about what's going on. So we see Drew, and she's on a FaceTime call with her mother, and you know, we kind of find out about more in the Ralph and Drew drama of it all, child. We learned that we learned that Ralph has locked Drew out of the house, child. That excuse me. Okay, so now we see Drew and her mother. She's like on the call with her mother, and she's basically venting to her mother because, of course, she's going through it with old buddy boy Ralph. So we learned that Ralph is trying to get Drew's lawyer taken off her case. But Drew is saying, you know, that she's not really going into detail why. People have been going into detail why. I'm not sure. This is all allegedly, but apparently her lawyer basically tried to create another LLC with just Drew's name on it, and not with the one with Drew. The one that's in court has Drew and Ralph's name on it. We know Ralph is her manager, and she gave this man 40% of her earnings, which is crazy, but that's neither here nor there. And so the lawyer tried to create another LLC with just Drew's name on it, so Ralph wouldn't be entitled to her money. That's word on the street, allegedly. So this is why he's trying to get the lawyer off her case, basically. Which, if she's a lawyer, she should know better, because I don't think legally you could do that, especially in an active divorce. But I am not an attorney. So then she lets us know, that Ralph locked her out the house. Like, she couldn't use the code to get in, so she had to go to a hotel at 1 in the morning. And it's just like, it's not stopping. And I'm like, what in the hell? Like, I would never understand this setup that the judge has set up. And like, y'all know, I always say it's something fishy with Ralph and Drew. But I do feel for Drew, because we know Ralph ain't Ralph too tight. Ralph, he's very manipulative. And don't get me wrong, I do feel like Drew has her faults and she does little stuff too. But Ralph will drive you to it. So yeah, he's just doing whatever to get up under Drew's skin. Locked her out the house, which I think is crazy. I think it's insane, and she's like, it's basically always something with him, which we're seeing it's always something with him. So Ralph is trying to fight her for both of the LLCs. Her mother is upset, she's like, he don't pay child support, he doesn't do this, he doesn't do that. Drew lets us know he still haven't turned over his financial records, but she does say that Ralph pays all the bills, that he does very well for himself. And so word on the street is that Ralph is in tech, I don't know, allegedly, but then too, he getting 40% of her money. So technically, Drew's still paying the bills. He's paying all the bills on paper, but 40% of his coin is coming from Drew. So yeah, it's like this whole Ralph and Drew situation, I am exhausted. And I'm not in the relationship, so I can imagine Drew's like exhaustion. But it's just like, I'm interested, but I'm not interested. Because it's like, it's the same old. Like, divorce, like, somebody do something, move or something at this point, because I'm tired, baby. And Ralph has got a million antics up his sleeve. So we see Angela meeting up with her mother, and I just want to say again, rest in peace. We learned that Angela lost her mother, and I know that's a great deal of pain. But we're gonna talk about the scene. I am glad that she did get this memory. She said that she felt like, it's sad that we didn't get that to see all of her. But I think the little part that we did get to see, she graced us with her presence, and I was liking her mother. The mother, they're basically talking about what's going on with her and her sister. I don't think her sister will be on the show or anything anytime soon. Well, not this season anyway, because they won't say her. They're blurring out her name. They're blurring out her face. So she may not want anything to do with the show. Angela's talking to her. She's talking to her mother about the situation with their daughter, Amari, and how the sister got in her face and the mama didn't do anything about it. And the mama was like, she was taken aback. That's kind of why she didn't do anything. Angela also learns that the mother and the sister has gotten a new place to stay. And Angela said, her and Charles got a house for them. They bought a house for them in Atlanta for $409,000. And so now they decided to get another house so they don't have to basically deal with Angela. Angela, she's hurt by that, because she's finding, I guess this is her first time hearing of it, and she's finding it out that, that they've done this. So the mother said her reasoning for it is because she want to be more self-sufficient, and she don't want to rely on Angela. We do learn that her and Charles haven't spoken in 3 years, because Charles made a comment about Angela not cleaning up. The mother didn't like that. She said something to Charles, and it resulted in them not speaking for 3 years. Which, me personally, 3 years over a petty comment, it had to be more. Like, it had to be something else. But yeah, she said they didn't speak in 3 years, and the mother did say something about, she wanted to write Charles a letter expressing her feelings because she loved him. She felt like that was her son in love, even though they are almost the same age. Like, mama throwing them jabs. I'm like, okay, I see where Angela get her little wit and stuff from. Mama got jokes. So I do hope, after seeing this, I hope that they were able to come to some resolve Angela did say on Instagram that her mother passing was unexpected. So I do hope, that she did write the letter, that they got to some resolve. Um, Maybe, hopefully, her and her sister have come to a common ground and have some type of resolve, especially since their mother have passed. Unfortunately, I hate that it had to come to this, but hopefully they can get on the same page because life is so short. We all got a time to go. We don't know when it's that time, so it's crazy to be beefing over the silliest things, especially if the reason that her mother gave her being into it with Charles and not talking to Charles for 3 years about him saying Angela needs to clean up, if that's really what it was, that's crazy not to speak to somebody for 3 years. Like, life is way too short. I do think it was more than that, but we're going off of what we've seen and what they're telling us. So hopefully they had got some resolve. My heart goes out to Angela. I could just imagine her pain. I know that hurts so bad. And so yeah, I'm just wishing her and her family peace and love. So Kelly is teaching Chloe how to drive, baby. And she learned how to drive in the Escalade, which I do feel like learning how to drive in a big car, you can drive anything, baby. You will be able to drive anything. But it did kind of give me a little anxiety because, baby, the way Chloe would have been in driving school dealing with me, baby, I have a daughter and she's going to driving school. I went to driving school, even though my brother did teach me how to drive, and I learned how to drive on a big car. So I pretty much know how to whip. But the way she would have been in driving school, because baby, Chloe, they gonna wreck fooling with Chloe. So Kelly is like, baby, I know you wanted a Jeep, but at this point you need a little hatchback. And Chloe is like, I just want a BMW and we can call it a day. And Kelly is like, well, who gonna pay for it? And she's like, oh, you gonna pay for it. And so Kelly was like, I will pay for it, but you gonna have to do the upkeep yourself, which I agree. Like, I know a lot of y'all been on Kelly neck because y'all say that, she owed this money and stuff to about this other restaurant. I believe it's the Sandy Springs restaurant that she owed the money on for back rent or whatever that have been paid. So her spending, look, they gotta be somebody. Some of them have to, make up of appearance to be on this show. I don't know if she got it for real. Don't know if I ain't knee deep in her pockets like that. If she got it, she got it. If she don't, she don't. Whatever. But if she do got it, ain't nothing wrong with getting it for your child. Her daughter did say, that she is gonna help her in the restaurant, which is, if you're not supposed to get a regular job and I own these restaurants, yeah, come pull your weight. So I did like that, Chloe's taking some initiative. I feel like Chloe, expressed how she's, her grades. She cares about her grades. Her grades is up there. She seemed like she helped Kelly a lot with her sisters and stuff. So if Kelly got the coin, her and her daddy, and they want to splurge on a BMW, then baby, who am I or you to tell them not to do it? Now, if they don't got it, that's neither here or there. Like I said, I'm not knee deep in nobody's pockets, but if that's what you want to do, cool. There's nothing wrong with that. Chloe, she says she gonna help with the restaurant. So, like, she trying to take initiative and she's trying to do something. So I'm all here for it. So we see Drew and Pastor Jeanette, her mother again. This time her mother has come to Atlanta. And, she's there with Drew and she's helping her with the kids. And her and Drew are having conversation. And basically, her mother said some stuff that I really agree with. She's just like, Drew is like, her and Ralph, it's been 2 years. They're still divorcing. If she have to recruit her, if she have to get a new lawyer, then it's like it will be starting the whole divorce process over with. And her mother is like, she really can't believe that they are in this space. Drew is like, we are better co-parents than we are together. And I'm like, her mother said something that really stuck out to me and was like, what type of man are you to be putting your kid's mother your wife, soon to be ex-wife, through this to the point where you want to see her in a financial strain. Like, you want to take everything from her. And I definitely agree. Like, I'm not saying Drew has been 100% right, because I do think, like, I don't know about y'all, but me personally, I do think it's some truth to the Drew and Ty situation. Do I think Drew did it because of Ralph? Absolutely. I think Ralph was doing his thing and Drew got tired and wanted some attention, and she did her thing. But that's neither here or there. I feel like y'all could be amicable in this divorce, and you take what you came in, I take what I came in, or we can come to a common ground where we both feel good about. But trying to take her for everything when she's the mother of your children, she's the kids are with her, she has to take care of them and do for them. It's like, what the hell is wrong with you? Like, I just, it's just crazy. But you never know a person until y'all start going through it for real. Like, and divorce is one of those things where when a person is mad or they hurting their feelings and stuff, you never know what they'll do. So I did agree with her mother. Her mother did say, she talked to Ralph, and the one thing she did say to Ralph was that the whole judge order is stupid. And I agree. Like, him staying in the basement is crazy as hell. Her not being able to talk to the kids, which that's what they say. I don't know if I want to believe that, because me personally, I just couldn't be in a situation and not be real with my children. Because at the end of the day, these kids, like I always say, people don't give kids enough credit. They see what's going on. Like, we went from being all in the house together to now daddy has to be in the basement. Mommy can only be upstairs. Mommy has to leave every other weekend and go to a hotel while daddy come upstairs to be a daddy. And it's just like, it's too much. Like, y'all think these kids don't know what's going on. They absolutely know what's going on. And I feel like I've said before, me as a mother and as being a mother, I would want to get ahead of it before anybody else will be able to tell my kids anything, before my kids be able to read anything, before my kids be able to see anything on TV. Me personally, I would want to sit my kids down and talk to them. I felt like she would love for her and Ralph to sit the kids down and talk, but they just not there. But I feel like this is something that they need to get together on and talk to the judge about, because that's too much. The mother did say how she can't even control the kids anymore. The grandmother, Pastor Jeanette, she said she can't control the kids anymore. And she's noticing a difference in the kids. While Drew was like, she really didn't notice that. She got emotional about that because, no one wants to be told that their kids are affected negatively about a situation. But it's like, the kids are not listening to you. And like I said this on the episode when Drew was trying to comb her hair when she was gonna go with Ralph for Father's Day or something, and she wouldn't let Drew comb her hair. She kept, giving Drew the runaround. I was like, it's because she probably know Drew was about to leave for the weekend. And it's like, damn, where are you going and why you gotta leave when we're used to this? So I think, like, even if y'all would have to start, if your kids need counseling or anything, start that process now while y'all are going through, so when y'all do get there, it's not so much of a big change to them. You know what I'm saying? I don't think that the judge ruling on him staying in the basement, I think it's stupid. And y'all, production is so messy because why the whole time they kept pinning that camera to the basement stairs? I'm like, now. But yeah, I agree that, they need to get on some type of court. And I do agree with Pastor Jeanette that this whole situation with Ralph trying to take her for everything is like, it's sad, honestly. It is sad. So in this final scene, we see Shamea and Porsha. They have their sit down. And y'all, I I don't know. I just feel like the whole situation is unfortunate. I know a lot of y'all feel like Porsha's not a good friend. She has done Shamea dirty. And it's like I'm seeing them both do stuff on both sides. I do feel like Porsha is a little passive aggressive. I do feel like she was a little dismissive, but I also think that Porsha don't know how to have uncomfortable conversations. Like if you notice when it's time to talk about real stuff and stuff that makes Porsha uncomfortable and stuff, she kind of tends to run from them or try to joke her way out of it. So I do feel like Shamea came to be real with Porsha, but I do side eye Shamea because my thing with this is you've been feeling this way for years, and then Porsha was like, you wait to tell me you mad about something. You wait to tell these other people and stuff you're mad about something that happened over 10 years ago. Like, that's a side eye for me because I know a lot of people say, oh, well, she may just mask her feelings. And I completely get that. I'm not, dismissing that. But masking your feelings and always putting somebody in the forefront of you for years on top of years on top of years, how can you really be mad at Portia? Because at this point, you've taught her how to treat you. That's just how I see it. Shamea is like, why can't we be how we are off camera on camera? And Portia said, well, they would have to pay me more for that. Which I did side out at because it's like, damn, if we that cool and we besties, why would they need to pay you more to be my friend, right? But then Shamea did say somewhere that she meant like more vulnerable. Which I don't know how true. Maybe that was Shamea taking up for Portia, but I do feel like if she's saying more vulnerable, I can kind of understand Portia's side a little bit more because Porsha may be like, I'm not telling them everything. I'm not giving the camera everything about me, and I'm only getting paid this much. But at the end of the day, again, Porsha, you're on the reality show, so this is what you signed up for. I don't like that Shamea waited till she got on camera to express this. I know some of y'all is like, well, Angela may have gave her the battery in her back she needed to not be scared of Porsha and this and that. I feel like that was shady. I'm sorry. If we've been friends for decades, years on years, don't wait till you get on this show, till we get on a reality show together, to get in front of cameras to tell me how you feel about me and how I've been such a bad friend over the years. I didn't like that because now that's giving very calculated. If y'all seen the after show, Angela said that she felt like Shamea is playing the long game. And with this scene and the stuff that Shamea is doing, it makes me wonder, she might be most definitely playing the long game. Like, that's very calculated. Y'all may not see it, but for me, like I said before, don't wait till we get on a TV show and we're recorded for you to come and tell me how I'm just such a bad person or how what I did hurt you when we've supposedly gotten through this and worked through this. And if you still felt some type of way, that's cool, that's understandable. But don't get on national TV and try to tell me that you feel some type of way, especially from shit that was years ago. When I thought we nipped it in the bud, and if we didn't nip it in the bud, we could have talked about it off the record. I do feel like though their mothers play a lot in the stuff that's going on with Shamea and Porsha. Shamea did say, what Miss Diane said about, the apple didn't fall far from the tree and not to trust Shamea and stuff that hurt her. And that is hurtful. I completely agree with Shamea. That's hurtful. Like, why would you tell me that? But then Porsha did say, she didn't feel like, she didn't feel that way. That's basically what her mother said. So Portia's just like, that's her mother's feelings. That's not her feelings. But of course, I do feel like Porsha is a people pleaser to her mother. I feel like in the past, Porsha has said how her mother prioritized her brother and stuff. So any little thing that makes Miss Diane happy, I feel like Porsha is gonna do. So I do feel like some of the stuff is because of Miss Diane. Like she may have be putting stuff in Porsha's head. I could see that, but at the end of the day, Porsha is wrong in her own right. And like I'm gonna keep saying this. I know y'all may not like it or something. Like I say, a lot of y'all just hate Porsha, so it's hard for y'all to see the other side. I know y'all think because Shamea lived a certain way and she had quiet wealth and she has all this stuff that she could do no wrong. I'm a realist. I'm a call it for what I see, and I do feel like Shamea has her faults as well. I feel like Shamea, I just feel like she could have handled it differently. Um, like I said before, I do feel like Miss Diane may have put stuff in Portia's head. But at the end of the day, I just feel like don't wait till you get on the show to tell me about myself. Like that makes me wonder, like, okay. And I think that Porsha caught that Shamea was really trying to have a moment, and that's why she went to the restroom to get out of the scene, you know. And then too, y'all, I know this is kind of a little far fetched. I do kind of wonder if this is just for a storyline. And the reason I say that, like, well, I initially thought that until the stuff happened the other day with Porsha going off. But I do think that because let's be clear, Shamea don't really have no storyline either. We know Porsha can't talk because Simon is on her neck, cease and desist here and there. Her life is not what she is signed up to come back as. You know, she's going through a divorce. She can't film in her house. It's a lot going on. Shamea on the other end, yes, she's married. Yes, she has this grand lifestyle. But her husband don't want to film. So we get a little from Shamea. But other than Shamea, you know, her singing and the stuff with Baby Shallow, we really haven't gotten anything from Shamea for real. So I feel like they both need a storyline. So I could see them doing this because they need storylines, but then again, I kind of feel like it is real. Excuse me. I just feel like they are jealous of each other in different ways. I know y'all don't want to think that Shamea could be jealous of Porsha, but I absolutely see Shamea being jealous of Porsha. And I see Porsha being jealous of Shamea. I feel like Porsha was jealous that Shamea got the man, the lifestyle and stuff that, you know, she wants. And I feel like Shamea is jealous that Porsha has this platform. A lot of y'all say, oh, Porsha is not a celebrity. She is a celebrity in her own right. She does pretty good for herself. She has millions of followers and stuff. And so I feel like Shamea has always wanted that. Yes, I feel like Shamea has always wanted the fame because Shamea, we know Shamea wanted to be a singer. Well, she is singing. She's not want to be a singer. She is a singer, but she's been in these girl groups and stuff. She did different stuff and that didn't pan out to the way she wanted it to pan out. So here she is, you know, she was able to be a friend of a show for years, and y'all keep saying, oh, Porsha didn't want her on the show. Porsha didn't want her on the show. But all the while, Gerald didn't want to film, and it's probably because production didn't really find her interesting. Not trying to be funny here, but that's most likely what it was. Because y'all keep saying, oh, Candy was going hard for Shamea. Candy, it wasn't even Porsha that got Shamea on the show. It was Candy. But if it was all Candy, when Porsha was gone and Candy was still on the show, why they didn't give Shamea a peach then? They gave Marlo a peach. Why they didn't give Shamea a peach? Like, I think y'all just hate Porsha so much that y'all really look past different stuff. I feel like Shamea has always wanted, like I said, wanted the fame. That's why she hung on to Candy. Porsha introduced Shamea to Candy. I know a lot of y'all don't fact check and don't do that, but I watched the show of Shamea and Candy on Candy Speak on it, And Kandi specifically said that Porsha introduced her to Shamea. Even though Shamea said she met Kandi way before Porsha introduced them, Kandi said she doesn't remember that, and she only remember Porsha introducing them. So it's like Porsha brought Shamea on this platform. So I think it's crazy that y'all say that Porsha didn't want her on the platform at all when she actually brought her to the platform. Kandi did not bring her to the platform. She met Kandi on this platform. I think that's what a lot of y'all don't get, because y'all don't like Porsha. Now, I can't say, Porsha may have felt a certain type of way, like, this is my platform, now you want to be on my platform. She may have did, I don't know. But I do feel like they're both jealous of each other in different ways. I do feel like they mothers played a role in their breakdown of their friendship. I do feel like that, that they have this sense of loyalty to each other because they have been knowing each other for so long. And it's like one of them things like, well, that's still my sister. She does me wrong, but that's my sister. I don't feel like either one of them are innocent. I feel like Shamea has her faults. I feel like Porsha has her faults. I do feel like Shamea was shady for waiting till she got on camera to say how she felt. I do feel like Porsha was shady for not going to Shamea's wedding and for dismissing Shamea. I can see both sides of the coin. I do low-key agree with Angela that Shamea may have been playing the long game, because she said that Shamea is not a pushover. Like, she's not going to let you come at her any type of way, which we can kind of see. Like, how she went at Angela and, she's going at everybody because of Porsha. So what makes y'all think that she will get on Porsha's ass if she need to? I think that some of what Angela's saying has some type of truth to it. Shamea wanted this platform, whether y'all believe it or not, she wanted this platform. She wanted the peach. And when she finally got the green light, she got the peach, and she really don't have a storyline for real. Like, I want y'all to tell me, what is Shamea's storyline? Because y'all keep saying, oh, Porsha don't have a storyline, Porsha don't have a storyline, Shamea don't have one either. And so I just feel like they need to do, if they want to stay friends, they need to have real conversations off camera. They need to keep their mothers out of it, because whatever that happened between the mothers is clearly has trickled down to them, and they need to just kind of figure it out without all of us and everybody's opinions. But I do feel like they are both at fault. Hopefully they can rekindle the situation. Like, it's always sad when you see people that you genuinely love, that genuinely love each other, and then it's just like shit hit the fan. Like, I do think that's sad, especially when you've been friends for decades, because when you've been friends like that, y'all are basically sisters, so that's hurtful and it's sad to watch. But at the end of the day, don't let nobody play with you. And they go on both sides. Like, everybody keeps saying, oh, Shamea just loyal to a fault, loyal to a fault, loyal to a fault. Well, Shamea, baby, if you so loyal to a fault, it's time to be loyal to yourself. Like, you can love Porsha, but you need to love you first. And I just feel like Porsha needs to learn how to have uncomfortable conversations. And maybe they had, like I said, maybe they had real uncomfortable conversations off camera, and maybe that's why Porsha is taken aback about Shamea doing what she did on camera. But at the end of the day, I just feel like they need to just lay it all out without us, without cameras, and come back stronger if they're gonna stay friends. But yeah, I feel like they all play in our face, because like I said, Porsha then wished her happy birthday. Shamea then posted Porsha maybe a couple months ago. Porsha gave Kandi a happy birthday. Like, they be all over the place, child. So, like, we as the audience don't know what's really going on for real. But I just feel like they're both wrong on both sides. I feel like they're both low-key jealous of each other in different ways. And I feel like if they want to stay friends, they need to figure it out off camera and then come back stronger than ever. If y'all not going to be friends, that's cool. Don't be friends, wish each other well, love each other from a distance. But yeah, just get it together. So basically that was it for this episode. I do feel like this episode was like a strong 7.5. I give it that. The episode wasn't bad. We didn't see much of Britt this episode. Britt, she really wasn't missed. But yeah, the Porsha and Shamea, I hope they get some type of resolve or something. I do agree, like I said with Angela, I do think that Shamea has some calculated stuff up her sleeve. But I do think, she do have true genuine feelings for Porsha. I do think Porsha is scared to have uncomfortable conversations, and they need to just figure it out and baby do what they do. Drew and Ralph need to figure it out because I'm sick of him, and he's out on social media going off on her mama. Child, Kelly and Shamea now, I guess they're best friends. Like, child, next episode, I believe Phaedra's coming back, so we'll see. Y'all don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And yeah, see y'all later. Bye.